Hey Kaiki, Richard Metal fan Tada, bringing you guys an old school album review. Or just continuing the Children of Bodom discography, and we're finally caught up with the last album I had to review. And today we're going to be talking about Halo of Blood, the band's 8th album released in 2013 through Nuclear Blast Records. Now, with their previous two albums being Blood Drunk and Relentless Reckless Forever, I feel like Children of Bodom kind of like had changed their style up a little bit, and it was kind of a little bit weird. And I mean, I thought it was okay, but it's nothing like compared to like stuff from like Follow the Reaper or Hatebreed or Hate Crew Death Roll. Well, but then we get to their 8th album, and I feel like this album, my opinion, was probably a great return to form from Children of Bodom, having that classic feel style. Kind of, I honestly thought when this album came out, it was probably their best thing they've done since Hate Crew Death Roll. And it's just has that kind of like the old school kind of feel to it, where it has like kind of like that raw feeling and just like that neoclassical style, compared to like Hatebreeder and shit. It's just, I feel like this is a great return to form. I'm still kicking myself for not reviewing this when it first came out, but hey, better late than never, right? But yeah, I'll just dive right into this. Production wise, fantastic. Like, I definitely think it's a great return to form. Like I mentioned, I keep saying that a bunch. Just the vocals, I feel like Alexi had pretty much stepped up his vocals compared to Blood Drunk and Relentless Reckless Forever. And just the guitar playing is just tight as always, and just Rope Lavata, and this is actually the last song with the Rope on rhythm guitars, but just Alexi and Rope's guitar playing is really tight. The bass playing from Henka is pretty audible, and just the keyboards are pretty much one of the most integral parts to Children of Bodom's sound, and Yanni does a great job on the keys, and Yaska does a great job handling just the sick drumming. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now, starting things off is Waste of Skin, which pretty much sets sort of like the whole tone for the record. It's just vicious like guitar leads, some really great gang vocals, and just lightning fast drums. And this pretty much not only sets the tone for the album, but introduces the listener to a rejuvenated version of the band. And I feel like Children of Bodom haven't sound this great since, like I mentioned, Hate Crew Death Roll. Well, and then we get to the next song, which is the title track, Halo of Blood, and it just kind of has that kind of like a black metal feel, with like plenty of blast beats and just some like textures supplied by the keyboards, and just the sick vocals, which I think is pretty much the highest point on this album. And yeah, I just think that's a great song. And then moving on to a Scream for Silence. Now, this pretty much has a very kind of like melancholic melody that I would describe a kind of just like finish where Children of Bodom are. And it has some really great instrumental work. It's a very mid-tempo song, which kind of, it reminds me of like other bands like Amorphous and shit. And the only difference is like, of course, the vocal work from Alexi, which kind of sounds a little bit unusual from Bodom, but I feel very positive, and it just shows a lot of potential with this song. Anyway, moving on to Transference. Now, this is pretty much one of those songs that pretty much would define the Children of Bodom sound. And half the charm is that Bodom is made of like Alexi and Rope's mad guitar chops, and then there's that neoclassical shred skills, which pretty much what got me a fan of into this band in the first place. And yeah, it's just a great song, and pretty much one of my favorite Bodom songs. And we're moving on to Bodom Blue Moon, The Second Coming. Now, this song is just fucking crazy right from the get-go. Just some fast guitars and like keyboard melodies that it's a shitty imitation of guitar, but just that one part is I love this song. Let's just leave it at that. Anyway, next song on the album is called Your Days Are Numbered. Now, it's another one of my favorite songs with this just chaotic qualities, and one of the best solos on the album. Dead Man's Hand on You, which is one of the most unusual, perhaps one of the best tracks I feel like this band has written. And it's very slow and atmospheric, almost kind of like a half kind of ballad in a way, with some great keyboard work and sort of like some really dark spoken word passages. And this song, I feel like, just keeps on developing, and it's often very kind of diversified and very great, passionate vocal performance, and also, like I mentioned, has a very melancholic atmosphere. And this is pretty much the longest song on the album, and it has a kind of like a majestic vibe to it, and it's filled with some really great ideas and just gets you interested right until the very end of the song. Um, Damage Beyond Repair, and this song is just all out war. It's just listening into it just makes you just feel like you're in like a battle, and just the tone of it just fits in so well, and it just makes you feel like you're just fighting in medieval war. Moving on to All Twisted. This pretty much flies on all cylinders with some little bit of like few tempo variations and some sick cues from Yane. And I just think he just has a really great solo, and just another great guitar lead from Lexi. And next up is One Bottle and a Knee Deep. Now this pretty much refines sort of like the merge of like thrash and power metal, that doesn't lose like its momentum at all. And the beginning verses kind of sound a little bit kind of positive, kind of like friendly, and just like the choruses are just, and like in the guitar playing and just like the tapping is just really great. Right, it also has like a lot of thrashiness to it as well. Then we get to the last song on the album, which is actually called "Sleeping in My Car," and it's actually a cover song by an artist called Roxette, which I honestly never heard the original, but I think this song is pretty much better than anything off of the Relentless Reckless Forever, in my opinion. Now, overall, Halo of Blood by Children of Bodom, I think is pretty much would be one of my favorite albums of 2013. Like I mentioned before, I still wish I kicking myself for not reviewing this when it first came out, but it's still a great album. So if I had to give this album a score, I'm going to give Halo of Blood by Children of Bodom a perfect 10 out of 10. A great return to form, probably their best thing they've done since Hate Crew Death Roll, which was at least 10 years prior. So yeah, now I'm pretty much all caught up with the Children of Bodom reviews, guys, so be on the lookout for the next incarnation of the band being Bodom After Midnight, which I'll review their EP on the 23rd, so be on the lookout for that. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video, and as always, keep it metal. Kitos.